We all think we know our genes, right? They're the blueprint. Eye color, enzymes, all that stuff. But here's a thought. What if over 99% of those, maybe 20,000 or 25,000 genes, are just sitting there waiting for a signal? And what if those signals aren't always coming from you? Today we're doing a deep dive into something pretty wild, how your gut and your food choices are having a direct conversation with your genes. So our mission today is to get into excerpts from the gut gene conversation, eating for your DNA. I want to pull out the really surprising science, how food basically sends instructions to your DNA. Think of this deep dive as your shortcut to understanding this hidden science. It's packed with surprising facts and insights you can actually use.
Absolutely. And what's really fascinating here, we're going way beyond just like basic nutrition, calories and calories out. We're connecting the dots between the trillions of tiny microbes in your gut, the food on your plate, and how your actual genetic blueprint gets expressed. You'll basically discover you have this kind of remote control for your DNA. It's pretty extraordinary.
Okay, let's unpack that. Genes are the blueprint. Got it. Instructions for everything. But the kicker, and this is kind of the mind-bending part for me, only about 1 or 2% are actually active all the time. The rest are like factory machines waiting to be switched on. So this idea of genes being switched on or off, how literal is that? And what's actually doing the switching?
Right. Well, that's where epigenetics comes into play. It's like the software that runs on your genetic hardware. You're not rewriting the code itself. You don't change your DNA sequence. Epigenetics decides which genes get read and turned on, maybe muscle-building genes, and which ones stay silent, maybe genes linked to inflammation. It's all about influencing how your genes behave, which naturally leads to the big question: what influences these powerful epigenetic switches?
And that's where it gets really interesting, isn't it? Because the source points to things like food, stress, sleep, sure, but heavily emphasizes our gut microbes. You've got trillions of bacteria in there. And get this, their combined genes outnumber our genes by maybe 100 times. We're talking, 2 million to 20 million microbial genes.
Yeah, the scale is just staggering. And their influence is massive. These microbes, they aren't just hanging out. They help digest food, obviously, but they also make vital things like feel-good chemicals. Serotonin, for instance, which we should definitely come back to. They boost your immune system. And here's the critical part for today. They produce chemical signals, signals that directly turn your human genes on or off. So like a really clear example. When good bacteria digest fiber, they produce butyrate. It's a short-chain fatty acid. And this butyrate, it actually tells your body to silence certain inflammation genes and activate genes involved in healing. That's a direct gut gene conversation happening right now inside you.
Wow. Okay, so just to really get this straight, eating something like lentils or broccoli isn't just about getting fiber for digestion. It's sending a message via your microbes to your genes saying, hey, turn down the inflammation.
Exactly. It makes you reconsider every single food choice, doesn't it?
It really does. So what you eat, what your microbes eat, is how your genes behave. Let's dig into some specifics from the source material. You mentioned fiber-rich foods, veggies, lentils. What's the positive genetic conversation there?
Well, those foods are essentially fertilizer for your beneficial gut bugs. They thrive, they multiply, and as they do, they pump out compounds that specifically activate anti-inflammatory genetic pathways and even genes linked to, say, brain health and cognitive function. It's a virtuous cycle.
Okay, so what about the opposite? The typical Western diet, lots of processed stuff, unhealthy fats. What message is that sending?
Right, well, that kind of diet tends to feed the less desirable bacteria, the ones you don't want too many of. This can create an imbalance, sometimes called dysbiosis, in your gut. And that state can trigger pro-inflammatory genes. It can even signal genes involved in things like storing fat more readily, basically telling your body to prepare for scarcity, even when there isn't any.
Interesting. The source also mentions polyphenols. We hear about them in berries, green tea, dark chocolate, mostly as antioxidants. How do they play into this gut gene thing? Is it direct?
It's actually a bit more nuanced and really cool. Polyphenols act partly as antioxidants themselves, sure. But a big part of their magic is feeding a diverse range of beneficial microbes. They encourage microbial diversity. And this diverse, thriving ecosystem is better at producing various beneficial compounds, which then help activate your body's own antioxidant defense genes and other protective pathways. So it's a team effort.
Okay, makes sense. And the common culprits, too much sugar, maybe certain types of meat. What's the potential downside there, genetically speaking?
Yeah, excessive sugar and potentially high intakes of certain meats can really throw off that gut balance, leading toward that dysbiosis we mentioned. And the concern is that this imbalance might inadvertently activate or awaken genes that are associated with chronic diseases, genes you'd much rather keep switched off.
This is moving beyond just theory. It has real-world consequences for how we feel day to day. So let's connect the dots to daily health. Mental health, for instance. The source makes this incredible claim about serotonin.
It's pretty stunning. The bacteria in your gut are estimated to produce something like 90 to 95% of your body's total serotonin. That's your primary feel-good, mood-regulating neurotransmitter. So yes, a balanced, happy gut ecosystem can genuinely contribute to a more balanced mood. The brain-gut axis is incredibly powerful.
And wait, you touched on fat storage genes. Could our microbes actually be, like, secretly controlling our metabolism behind the scenes?
Secretly controlling might be strong, but they're definitely a major player. Some species of gut bacteria are just much better at extracting every last calorie from the food you eat, and the signals they send can influence whether your body is in fat storage mode or fat burning mode. So yeah, the makeup of your microbiome is a significant factor in weight management, absolutely.
Okay, and immunity. This one's huge. The source says over 70% of our immune system is influenced by the gut. How do bacteria lock down problematic genes, like those for inflammation or autoimmunity?
Think of the good bacteria as peacekeepers. They interact constantly with immune cells located just beneath the gut lining. They produce compounds that signal to these immune cells, everything's okay here, stand down, no need for alarm. This helps keep inflammatory genes in check and can prevent the immune system from becoming overactive and potentially attacking the body's own tissues, which is what happens in autoimmune conditions.
And this isn't just about us right now. The source mentions this impact stretches across generations.
That's right, it's profound. During pregnancy, what the mother eats, the state of her microbiome. It sends epigenetic signals to the developing fetus. These signals can influence the baby's immune system development, their metabolic settings, potentially affecting their health risks for their entire life. It really highlights how interconnected diet, gut health, and gene expression are, not just for us, but for the next generation too.
Let's just pause and absorb some of these numbers again, because they really drive it home. Your own DNA, maybe 20,000, 25,000 genes, tiny fraction, always active. Your gut microbes, 2 million to 20 million genes. That's potentially 100 times more microbial genes than human genes.
It's a whole second genome, really.
And remember, 90% or more of your serotonin made in the gut, over 70% of your immune system, influenced by the gut.
The numbers are just staggering. They really underscore the gut's role as a central hub for health.
So where is this research heading? What's the future look like?
Oh, it's incredibly exciting. We're moving towards truly personalized nutrition. Imagine, providing a stool sample and getting back a detailed report saying, okay, based on your unique microbiome and maybe your genetics, these are the specific foods you should eat more of or less of. We might see targeted probiotics or even prebiotics designed not just for general gut health, but to specifically flip certain genetic switches, turning off disease-promoting genes, turning on protective ones. Gut-focused therapies could become standard treatment for metabolic issues, mood disorders, immune conditions. It's about harnessing this knowledge for real, practical application.
Okay, so with all that in mind, maybe it's time for everyone listening to do a quick gut check. How are you treating your genes based on what feeds your microbes? Ask yourself honestly, are you getting enough fiber, say at least 25 grams a day? Think fruits, veggies, beans, oats.
The foundation.
Do you regularly include fermented foods, things like yogurt with live cultures, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi?
Those introduce beneficial microbes directly.
How often are processed snacks and sugary drinks part of your routine? Are you limiting them?
Big disruptors, those ones.
Do you avoid antibiotics unless absolutely necessary? Because they can really wipe out the good guys along with the bad.
It's a crucial point. Use them wisely.
And just generally, how do you feel? Energized,
Yeah.
focused, or more often sluggish, me bloated?
Listen to your body. Those feelings are often direct feedback from your gut. Reflecting on those answers gives you a pretty good snapshot, actually. It indicates how well you're likely feeding those crucial microbes, and by extension, how well you're guiding your genetic expression in a positive direction.
So, wrapping up this deep dive, the big takeaway really seems to be, you're not just what you eat. You are what you feed. Those trillions of microbes inside you. Your genes might be the blueprint, yeah, but it feels like your gut, influenced by your lifestyle and diet, is kind of the foreman on the job site, deciding which parts of the blueprint get built.
That's a great analogy. And by making conscious choices about food, about nurturing your gut microbiome, you are literally giving your genes the best possible instructions for health, for vitality, for longevity. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it, given this incredibly powerful gut-gene connection, what other areas of our health, maybe things we haven't even considered, are being profoundly shaped by these daily choices, by this internal ecosystem?
Something to definitely think about. Remember, eat smart, feed your microbes, empower your DNA.